A young man completed seminary and was sent on his first mission to India in 1952. Upon arriving in India, he's met by a villager from the village that he's going to start his ministry from, and the villager is very upset, like that microphone. And the villager tells him that there are many people in our village that are sick and some are beginning to die. And so the missionary says, I've brought medicine amongst my provisions, let's go. So after 2.5 days of hard journey, over which they traveled over a high mountain peak, they were just about 3/4 of the way down, and they could see the village that was their destination, walking along this very narrow mountain path with a sheer drop on one side and a sheer cliff face on the other when they came to a blind corner. As they reached the corner and turned, they both stood in terrified, frozen motion. There was a huge cobra in the middle of the road, coiled up, sunning itself. The villager knew the dangers of the king cobra, and he couldn't move for fear. The missionary didn't like snakes to begin with, didn't care that it was a cobra, and he was frozen in place in terror. They looked at each other, and the missionary said, is there another way to the village? And he says, yes, there is, but it will take us 10 days to get there. The missionary just like, what are we going to do? The villager says, there's no way, we have to go a different path. He says, many people will die. We can't pass the snake. The missionary stops and he prays and he asks for God's will to be done. Give me the courage to do what I can. He looks around and he sees a large stone. So he picks up the stone and he tells the villager, I will kill the snake. Good luck with that. He makes his way towards the snake, slowly, hoping not to stir the snake, maybe catch it off guard, thinking that he could sneak up on an animal whose entire body is connected to the ground. As he gets as close as he feels comfortable where he could maybe reach the snake with that stone, he looks real closely at the head, looking for any movement, and he notices the head is on the ground and there's blood coming out of it. And he looks really closely and he sees a line of ants going to and from that snake. The snake is dead. Somebody had already come by and killed the snake. Relieved beyond measure, the young man grabs the snake and throws it off the side of the cliff and turns and beckons to the villager. They finish their journey and save not only many lives but many souls. In Genesis 3, mankind sins. The serpent comes, Satan in the form of a serpent, and brings sin in between God and man. There had been nothing in between God and man before that. God and man had been able to dwell with one another, but now sin lies across that road. There's no way around it. You cannot go over it. That route has now been blocked. But also in Genesis 3, after the curses have been handed down, promises are made. And amongst those promises was what's referred to as the seed promise, when God promises to both Eve and to the devil that the seed of woman, while Satan, you will crush his heel, he will crush your head. The power that you have, the power of sin and death, will be crushed. I will take it away from you. The resurrection was the exclamation point to what God had promised. It was the completion of that promise, and it was an exclamation point saying, this has gone away, and now man can dwell with me again. Not just kind of sort of converse across this chasm, but we get to dwell with one another again. We couldn't kill the snake. There was no way around it. Somebody else had to come, and indeed did come, and crush the snake so that we could go back to having things be the way God intended when He created the world. That desire to dwell with us. Not just kind of hang, not have fellowship, but to dwell with us. So as we eat and we drink this morning, let's focus on just that idea that I have made the way clear for you to come to me.